Let's look at further about the instances and the classes. An instance is a realization of a class or class in action. An instance is created with the new keyword. For example, we have a synthesizer here, speech synthesizer. We call it syn, and this part here is an instance. Now I moved up. The reason that I moved up is to store this instance only once. To compare with this instance, the concept is that you've defined a class, you have a blueprint of a house, and an instance is that the construction has happened, that the actual house is built, and there is an instance of a house. A concept like this is somewhat difficult to grasp when you are when you're introduced to programming. The speech synthesizer is a class that has the specific behaviors built into it. This speech synthesizer is a SILT class. It has a special meaning in the C#, and the blueprint is there are all these properties, events, and methods, functions. This class, we can, from the get-go, we can look at IDisposable. This is somewhat implied rule that when you create an instance, make sure you close it, especially with the using statement. That when you are creating this instance, using ensures that the disposable interface call or object that implements this interface will properly close when it goes out of scope. Scope is within the two braces, curly braces. So there's for each scope and there's a using scope. So using scope guarantees the synthesizer is closed. So why did I move it outside? Within the for each loop, we would create an instance for every names that we have. Yet it's like we have a person, let's say this is musical program, a person would come to the stage and announce the name, and another person would come and announce the name. So having this person coming and announce the name the same way, we just need the same person to do the job. So in this case, we do not need to create multiple instances. The downside of creating multiple instances is that we may consume more memory. Though the interface IDisposable disposes the object, it doesn't mean the memory will be cleared. Now, I don't want to really go into the details of allocating memory and deallocating memory, because C# is trying to abstract that. But a little bit of that we need to know. And another is, when we create a new instance, there is going to be an initialization of an object, which may or may not take heavy resource. For example, when you call synth set output default audio device, this does have by initializing, this must be part of initializing an audio device. There is good and downside to this audio device here. I can say that one, if we put inside the using, let's start with the inside the using here, that every time with for each the name comes in, a synthesizer, a speech synthesizer is going to create a new instance of it, and then the default audio device is set. Then the name is spoken. The next is while we are giving the name, when I can see that we can benefit from switching the default audio device between the names. For example, if a user switches the default audio device from if there are multiple sound devices, some systems now do, such as the digital signal or the analog signal going out to the sound system. Say if these are changed, the name, let's say that you change your name from one device to another, the first name will be may be lost when in the process of changing it. However, the next names will be actually announced on the same part. I mean, on the new sound device that operating system is aware of, which is this line here that says set up to default audio device. However, in normal cases that I think is this may not be the necessary part of that. When the program runs, it runs within some time, and hence the default audio device wouldn't change in the lifetime of for each. And even though when it changes, we might be able to change while we're calling the names. So we could try using this call to initialize the default audio device once and continue with the names.